everyone, thanks for coming back to my channel. I am going to show you today how to make I'm going to call it a mini pocket album, I guess. I'm going to be using the Companions paper from Authentique to show you. This is a design team project for Country Craft Creations. I already made an album using this paper, and I had a little bit left over, and so I couldn't make a big project, so this was perfect. This is only going to need one 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. I'm using the artisan cardstock, and then you'll need some leftover papers. You might want to find some coordinating flowers, whatever, but the biggest piece of paper you're going to need for the decorative paper, for the Companions paper, is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. So those are the biggest sizes you'll need. So let me do a quick run through of the little booklet. You'll notice that I just added a flower and on the bottom here, and with a leaf, and a brown flower up here. That was just from my stash. This has a belly band to keep it closed. You can't really decorate the inside because it'll get kind of fat and won't lay nice, and especially if you're going to add pictures. So minimal decorating. So the belly band, this picture of the dog came from one of the 12 by 12 sheets. It wasn't a cut apart or anything. And then the I Wuff You, that was from the cut apart, or no, yeah, that was from the cut apart page. And I just mounted everything on the color of cardstock that I used. Okay. I do my belly bands maybe the easy, very easy way. I don't like measure and score. I just kind of wrap it around, and where I see the indentations, that's where I score. So anyway, this is what it looks like when you take the belly band off. You could put a small picture here if you wanted to, so that when the belly band's not on, you could see a picture. You open it, and this is totally for a picture. Again, this is a 4 by 6 page, so you might have to trim a 4 by 6 picture a little bit. And then it opens one more time, and this is for a picture. This I added a small pocket and just put in one of the cut aparts from the collection, left the back plain. You can leave this without a pocket to put another picture, whatever you want. This is a pocket, and I turned it into a doghouse, and that's what I think makes this cute with this collection. So there is the doghouse. It's the same on both sides, just a different dog in the doghouse. And so I took the saying from the Authentique papers and put it as at the top. You know how there's like a sign with the dog's name or whatever. And then the roof comes off or out, and you can either journal or you can put a picture. Okay, so let me get that back in here, and then I'll show you. Now I saw something similar to this and just modified it to make it work for this paper line. Oh, the little dog on the inside is from the sticker collection. I just cut off his head. It was I'll show you the sticker collection. So then you can push this back in, turn that over. Here's the other side. Same thing, just different dog. That one's from the sticker collection also. I just cut one of the dogs out. The roof again. I just have one paper in there. And then the other side mimics the left. So picture, picture. I did a pocket. Here's a cutout. You can leave that plain again, and the back. So it's just for a few amount of pictures, but it would be really nice to send someone in the mail, or just kind of have in your purse or at your work, just laying out. So that's what we're going to be making. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. So when you put your, you know what, let's go ahead and make, let's cut this down to 12 by 11. Okay. So we're going to have we cut it to 12 by 11. And what we're going to do with the 12-inch side across the top, let's go ahead and score at 6 inches to divide it right in half. Okay, turn your paper so that the 11-inch side is going across the top. Score at 4 inches, score at 8 inches. Okay, that's all the scoring. Now you're going to go ahead and burnish those score marks. On the first one I made, I accidentally cut before I did my burnishing, and it didn't work out as easily as I would have hoped for. So always burnish first. Okay, so there's our halfway mark. I'm folding in to the mountain. One more. Okay. Now, your booklet, this is going to turn into the doghouse pocket. So what I need for you to do is to cut on your center line through the first set of boxes and the second set of boxes and stop at that 8-inch score line. So go as straight as you can. And, oh, I got my glue, got glue on my scissors. Just right down the center where you have that score mark. So past the 4-inch score, go up to the 8-inch score. Okay, so that's what we have. If you want to trim off a little bit so you don't have the bump from the fold, that would be totally fine. Just do it very slightly though. Okay, so what we're going to do now is fold our paper on the 6-inch score line so it's in half. And now we're going to fold it like a booklet. So remember, this far right hand side, the smaller piece, is going to be the doghouse. So let's go ahead, and I think it'll be easier if we glue first. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. So this last section, the smallest one, we're going to put glue on 2 spots, down at the bottom up against the score line and right here to close off so that it's only open on this end. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open it back up again, and just a real fine line as close to the score without going over. Okay, so just like in an L, bottom and side. And let's go ahead and make sure that it's adhered. Okay, so now I'm going to open it up, and you can see that this is that middle piece. So I want to train my paper. So I'm going to fold that middle section to the right and to the left so that it opens and turns the page easily. Okay. There's our doghouse center. So we want to take the very right hand side, that's my left, sorry, my very left hand side, and fold that in. Now you want to still be able to lay this down, so if you need to readjust your scoring so that you have a so that it closes flat, now's the time to do it. So see, if I fold this down, I can still get it to lay down flat without any rippling. Okay, do the same thing on the right hand side, the very end piece, fold it in to the center on your score line. Make sure that you can get that to lay down. Now see, I have a little bit of a buckle on this side, so as I score, I'm going to push out to get rid of that, and now it will lay down flat. Okay, and then let's go ahead and close the book and just give it a good burnish. And that's how easy that was. So you open, this is the doghouse, open. Okay, so the paper, when you go to matte, you want to pick out the papers you want. You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to want 8 pieces to mat. The 8 pieces should be 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. So 3 7/8 across, 5 7/8 long. So if your paper is directional, make sure you pay close attention to that. Okay, and then you'll just adhere those. I did one on the back too, can't leave that empty. So let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep, 8 pieces. Okay, so 8 of these. If you choose to do the pockets, I did the pocket, I went ahead and matted it, and then you can cut the pocket any size you want. Because we want it to lay flat, we're not going to use cardstock to do it and then mat it. just use your regular decorative paper. So this is going to be 3 7/8 also. Okay. And you can decide what you want for the height. I found that 2 3/4 is what I liked. Okay. And then again, you want to make sure that when you glue that down, you don't go over the score line so that it still closes with no problem. So once you have this glued down, you're going to glue your pocket on 3 sides and lay it down right on top. Okay. And you'll need 2 pockets. So 2 at 3 7/8, and like I said, I did 2 3/4 tall. Okay, so let's get to the doghouse, because I have a feeling that's where we're going to want to see how to do that. So this piece is 5 7/8 inches across, and let me get my ruler, and I think it's 3 inches tall. Yep, and 3 inches tall. So you want to cut 2 pieces, and they're going to be 5 7/8 by 2 7/8. So let me do that real quick. Let me use this one. So 2 7/8 and 5 7/8. Now I did ink all the edges of mine. I always do that. Okay. And you're going to do 2 of these. You're going to glue one on the front and one on the back. And of course I chose red because of, you know what, I'm not going to glue this down. I'm just going to show you. Okay. So you'll have that on the front and on the back. The next thing you need to do is to get the opening, the door opening. And so what I did was, I have this oval punch. If you don't have an oval punch, you can just cut it freehand. And I took some of the Spectrum paper, the Authentique paper, and I cut out an oval. And then I just cut straight across. Okay. And so that became my opening, like so. Okay. I also have this little gate punch by Martha Stewart, and so I cut out gates and cut them. You can put the gate down first and then put this on top. I just cut a gate out and then cut it to meet where this was. Let me put this on real quick and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to eyeball where the center is. Okay, and so I would use, I think I used cream colored paper, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just do this real quick. I should have had this ready, sorry. Let's see. Okay, oh, great. All right, let me cut that out. Okay, let me get this out of the way. So I cut a piece of fencing and then I laid it down and found that where I needed to cut it. Or like I said, you could do the whole thing going across and then just lay your black paper on top. But I just cut it because I thought of the fence afterwards. So that's where that came from. Okay. Now for the dog head that's in the doghouse, I used 2 different stickers. On one side I used this sticker and just cut out the head and not have the blue background. And then the other side I used this dog and just cut around his head and put him on the other side. Which I hate to waste that sticker, but I'll find something to do with the other 2 dogs. Okay, so that's where I got the dog faces. And so now the only thing we have left to do is the roof. Okay, So depending on how close you glued to your edges will kind of determine the width of your paper. Okay, so remember it's 6 inches tall, but after you glue it, 6 inches would be too big. So mine that I did measures 5 inches, so I went an inch shorter, so 5 inches, and then I have this at 3 inches tall, so I cut out a 5 by 3 of my cardstock. Okay, 5 by 3. You're going to want to cut out the roof. Okay, so I'm going to use the dark brown. And for the roof, you want to cut out a piece that is 2 inches by 5 3/4. Nope, 5 7/8. Sorry. So 2 inches. I hope this is big. Is that 5 3/4? Or 5 7/8? Nope, I'm gonna have to do it this way. 2 3/4. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 2 inches. 2 inches. My bad. A 2-inch strip. And then I want it to be 5 7/8. I apologize for that. Okay. Take your 2-inch by 5 7/8 inch piece, put it in your scoreboard so that the 2 inches is across the top, and score at 1 inch. Fold it on the score, burnish. Now, if you're very particular, you can measure how much you want to cut off. I was not that particular, so I just took my scissors and cut at an angle from the bottom to the top. Did the other side. There's your roof, okay? And so you'll attach it. If you open it, it looks like this. So now you're going to attach it on your paper. But what you have to be aware of is when you glue it, you're going to glue one side down on the front and one side down on the back. When you put it in here, you're going to have to make sure that it does not go over this score line so that you can still fold that in. So if this is too big, you're going to have to shorten it a little bit. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so I took my paper, glued the roof on, made sure that it closed. You might want to make sure it closes before you actually glue it on. And so it looks super cute, and you've got your doghouse. Okay, and then it turns over and you'll have everything else decorated. So that's how easy it was and how fast. Think of how many you can make in a short amount of time. So let me just real quick show you the final book again. Oh, for the belly band, I just did a 1.5 inch strip. I did 1.5 by, I just did it by 12. I just cut it. Okay, so 1.5 was what I thought looked good. And what I do, because I'm kind of lazy, is after all the matting is done, I took this and put the belly band on the front and bent it around, knowing that it's going to be thicker than it is now because of the decorative paper. And then I did this one, and where they met in the back, I glued, but I made sure that I had room, like a small gusset on each side. Hope that's clear. It's pretty easy to make a belly band. Okay, so I'll show you. See, I have a little bit of a gusset. It's not flat. There's some depth there, but I'd say about 1/4 of an inch actually. Okay, and one last look. All right, hope this was helpful to you. Hope it goes quickly, and Got to have some sort of animal paper if you're making a doghouse card. So this is the Companions by Authentique. Thanks for watching my video, you guys, and hope to see you at the next retreat. Bye.